Hello crafty friends, let's make card number 24 in Full Deck Challenge 2. The prompts are lace, frame, mushroom. For the lace, I'm just bringing out all my little bits of lace that I have. These I have from Topology. I'll put a link to their website in the description box below. As I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, I'm just bringing out all the little bits that fit the prompts, and then I'll see later how I'm going to put it together. This is a little die cut that I could punch out and use as a frame. I have two little wooden frames that I could use. And then for my mushroom, I have this really beautiful printout. I love this printout of this mushroom. This is from Digital Collage Club. I will put a link to their website in the description box below. And there's a lovely discount if you use my link. I also have some wooden mushrooms that I could use. And as I was clearing my desk so I could start the project, I had a totally different idea of how I was going to do the frame. So I've got out my cutting board and my X-Acto knife, and I'm going to cut out the inside of the card. This part is extremely frustrating because I don't have my flat metal ruler. My daughters have decided to use it and not put it back, and I cannot find it. And I'm using this blue one, which is not flat, and as you can see, it keeps slipping. This was a totally frustrating portion of the project, and now I'm going to just totally abort the mission and go and look for something else I could use because this is definitely not working. So I have this other metal ruler which is like an L shape, a bit big for the project, but it works much better because I can push it flat. So I'm going to cut out the inside of my card and make that the actual frame. I'm leaving the bottom part slightly larger than the top so it can be one of those vintage style frames. Once that's cut out, I'm going to cover it with some tissue paper. This time I'm using the tissue paper from an old dress pattern. I really love the vintage feel it has and the beautiful color, and also that it has some kind of print on it. I like to leave the print as part of the project. So I'm adding some Mod Podge all the way around the card, and then I'm going to add the tissue paper on top. The reason why I didn't add the tissue paper first and then cut it out is I find when you have too many edges, it can come unstuck, which will have then all the way around it. It can come unstuck and then also on the inside. So I thought if I can wrap it around in a way, it would be a little bit more secure. So I've just trimmed it to a small area all around the inner and the outer edge. And then I'm adding additional Mod Podge and just pressing that flat. It's never too late to join in the Full Deck Challenge. We've completed Full Deck Challenge number 1, and I'll put the playlist to all the videos in the description box below. This is the second deck we're working on. You can start at any time, on any deck, and on any card. I don't have a lot of rules except for have fun and try and think outside of the box. If you're on Facebook, do join my group there. Just search Full Deck Challenge Group. I also add a layer of Mod Podge over the top of the tissue paper. This is just to prevent it from tearing. I'm also going to add some additional text that I'm tearing from another piece of tissue paper on the top. I love the effect that it has. Once all the tissue paper is added and everything is nice and dry, we're going to start layering our decorations or our embellishments. I'm going to start with the lace. I'm going to chop and change a little bit as I do this. This is a bit of a process. There isn't really a method that I have. I just add the different layers until I get something that I find pleasing to the eye, that I think is balanced. So I'm going to add some papers and some of the lace and some other little elements until I have a lovely little cluster. The printed paper I've just put down was also from the Digital Collage Club printout. I just love the vintage handwritten text, so I just tore a piece that I'm going to use as part of the embellishment stack. This mushroom is quite big, but I do like that it's a really good focal point. I love the red top that it has. I think it looks really cool. I'm going to just distress the edges all the way around my card with some distress ink. I'm using the color Walnut. This part is obviously optional if you're going for a vintage look. You really don't have to do it. I'm just edging some of the other elements just to give it that vintage look, which is what I'm after. These are little vellum stickers that I have, also from Topology. I love that they're a beautiful green, which I think brings a nice element and contrast. So I'm just going through the little pack and just finding a few that I like, that I think suit the theme, and then I'll see which ones I'm going to use. This is Hessian thread that I have, and I've just looped it around my fingers 3 times to create like a triple loop, and I'm going to put that down as part of the embellishment cluster. I love the extra texture it creates and how it's totally different to just all the flat papers that I'm putting down. I'm also going to cut out some blue butterflies. These also are from Digital Collage Club. I love the blue. I think it's a great contrast with the red, and I like that they're tiny, so I can put a few of them. So I'm just moving the elements around, and then I'm cutting out my little butterflies and working on the composition of the embellishment stack. Sometimes I tend to overthink it and overwork it and keep moving the elements around. So what I like to do is, once I sort of have an idea of what I want, I start to stick things down. This just helps me to get everything organized and to make a final decision. So I'm going to start by sticking down the mushroom as the main element and then working from there. At this point, I'm not liking this lace. I'm going to find another piece, something that is slightly smaller and more of a beigey color. And I'm going to stick that right at the bottom. I'm using Mod Podge for these parts. I'm later going to use a hot glue gun. You can use whatever adhesive you have handy. I'm also adding a piece of calico fabric. I love my layers to be quite different and full of texture. To add the Hessian string, I'm going to just use a staple. This will just keep it all in one place, and it doesn't matter if it has a staple because we're going to stick elements on top. You can also let the staple show if you prefer to have that as an aesthetic. For some additional contrast, I'm going to add some green. This is just a sprig of leaves. This is a rub-on, also from Topology, that I'm just adding to the one side of the mushroom. It's going to be very subtle, but there's going to be a small burst of green. As I was placing my little butterflies, my daughter was with me and she mentioned to put the one butterfly at the bottom instead of the top left where I had it. You can see a little hand there. And actually, I did prefer that there, so I did stick it down. I think it was better balanced. So I put 2 of the butterflies at the bottom on each side of the little label and 1 at the top of the mushroom. I really hope you enjoyed this project and enjoyed watching my video and were inspired to create your own. Here is a close-up of today's project. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. Really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and I'll see you again soon. Bye.